Having only played Sniper Elite 3 and finishing its roughly 10 hours of story mode, I was eager to jump back into the strangely engaging but completely bland world of Sniper Elite 4. If you were interested in any of the previous Sniper Elite games, then you will feel right at home with the newest installment. Fans of the series can expect a similar experience from 3, with the same standout sniping mechanics making its obvious return, but Sniper Elite 4 fails to make much improvement over its predecessor. It's still the same third-person tactical shooter that you're either fond of or don't really care for. I enjoyed the 15 hours I sank into the main campaign, but I found myself putting it back on the shelf with ease. My biggest struggle with Sniper Elite 4 is the world building. With poorly designed and not too interesting characters, a lousy storyline, and a boring color scheme, it all kind of stopped me from being completely engaged. Not even the pre-level cutscenes could keep me focused long enough to show any sign of interest in the overall narrative. It's tough to care about what's exactly going on, with dialogue sounding as if it's being read instead of acted out. A great example is the main character, who sounds like your run-of-the-mill B-list action star doing his best to impersonate Sam Fisher.
So it was a test, to see if I'm committed to your cause.
After enough of the poorly written cutscenes with mediocre voice acting given by characters with even less animation, I opted out of caring for character interactions entirely. Thankfully, the combat system is an entire 180 from the story, providing an acceptable reason for gamers to check out Sniper Elite 4. Making a return is the most realistic sniping mechanic in a game to date. Players are given the choice of playing with a variety of aim assists, like keeping bullets from being affected by wind or gravity. This is great for those looking to feel like a marksman, popping off straightforward shots with no effort. The real feeling of accomplishment, though, comes from lining up your shots perfectly and taking into account where the bullet is going to hit, not just where you're aiming. I noticed as the game went on, I felt more comfortable calculating trajectory instead of relying solely on the aim assists. Third-person shooter fans will be surprised by the overall shooting mechanics, with weapons such as the Tommy gun feeling responsive and powerful. Bullets whiz through the air with such ferocity that the power in each shot can be felt with every single kill. I wish the same could be said about the many traps you have at your disposal. Besides from tossing grenades and using satchel charges on tanks every now and then, I barely used any of my other tools. They felt too unreliable and loud for what I was trying to accomplish. Rarely did I ever find the tripwire or the mines useful. I do have mixed feelings towards the X-ray cam, which plays when players destroy a vital organ. I noticed towards the end of my infiltration that I was rarely getting tired of the 7 or so second scene that played out with each successful hit. The cinematic destruction of enemies feels great, especially in high pressure situations. Opposed to the previous game, Sniper Elite 4's X-ray cam has been extended into melee kills as well as when enemies are hit with explosives. Grenades, red barrels, and even exploding trucks now send bits of shrapnel that tear through enemies, obliterating multiple organs in the process. At times, the X-ray cam can get a bit tedious, like when you replay sections after a death. Thankfully, it can be turned off if it becomes too bothersome. Complementing Sniper Elite's gameplay is its level design. Each map provides an open world with a handful of objectives to accomplish in any order you want. Most locations provide ample room to move around in, high vantage points to nest, and have long-distance areas to shoot across. The tone between each level varies as well. Moving around the tight city streets is a strong contrast from the open fields, the train yards, and snowy mountaintops in later areas. It's the difference between locations contained in a single level that is impressive. A lookout tower can give you a lay of the world just in front of you, but the structure of the map will keep a town completely secluded from your view. This keeps things feeling fresh and makes players constantly adapt to new situations and locations. It may seem like Sniper Elite 4 is a tough recommendation, but it can be worth it if you find a copy at the right price. With extra game modes other than the story mode, such as co-op and multiplayer, one may find countless hours to spend in the game. Anyone looking for a groundbreaking story, or even a tolerable one at that, may want to check somewhere else. But for a great third-person shooting experience, it's a relatively easy sell. With a solid sniping mechanic, a simple learning curve, and optional handicaps, those interested will find a satisfying gameplay loop. Some lackluster aspects don't completely drag down the experience, but they do keep it from being something special. In the end, Sniper Elite 4 will just remain a guilty pleasure.